The only drawing that I'm going to do for this particular landscape is I'm going to give myself a line to follow, making sure that I do not cut my painting in half. So this is about the halfway mark. So I'm going to raise this up so that I will be sure to have my land fall there, and then this is the one that's in the background. And they just kind of crisscross. That front one comes out a little bit more. So this will be a guideline for me while I'm painting. Everything else will be done fairly freeform. I have a clean brush for this. I have 2 canisters of water. This one on the left I use for all my colors, and the one on the right I use just when I am diluting my yellows, because the yellows will just turn a really bad color. I generally go in and loosen up all of my colors and get them ready. We're going to be painting wet on wet today, and so the first thing I'm going to do is wet quite a bit of my watercolor paper because I want the colors to run together. The only area that I'm not going to wet is this right in here. I'm going to kind of go around it with no particular pattern because I want it to stay white. That way the paint will not run to that area. And we're going to begin with lightest to darkest colors. So we're starting with yellow. I'm going to start up here, and we're going to just do a wash of yellow here and there, not everywhere, but a little bit darker over here. A little bit more powerful up in this upper right hand corner. Definitely want some right in here and right in here. And now we're going to soften the edges in here. That's going to be our reflected light. Now we'll go in with some of the cadmium, and we're going to mix a little bit of that yellow with it to lighten it just a splash, beginning at the top and bringing it down. Very soft. We want it to look like a mountain. Then we're going to lay in some violet right on top of that. This is called painting wet into wet. Cleaning the brush occasionally when we're going back into another color, back into the cadmium, a little bit of that yellow to create orange. Just lightening this up using the paint that is on the brush right now. If you can look closely, you'll see that we're creating layers. So now we're creating another band of the violet. So it's going to look like mountains. It's important here to not have too much water on your brush. Control your water. I always have a paper towel in my left hand. I'm going to drop in some of that cadmium orange right over the purple, and then just create a little bit of a line there. And this is the reflection in the water. So I'm taking my brush and just cleaning these lines a little bit. To define the mountains. Paper is still wet on the bottom, so as we add this color in, we don't need too much water on our brush. We want it to just kind of sink in and move around very gently on the paper. It's starting to dry a little bit on the bottom, so I'm going to mist it a little. Drop in a little bit of scarlet, a little bit more of the yellow. And then a little bit of the violet just to kind of come across. Misting it again to soften it. And just loosening it up and kind of letting it flow a bit. Dropping in just a little bit more of the cadmium. And a touch more violet. And a touch more violet right here. Now we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and add our land and trees and so on. Some green and purple together to make a very nice dark. And then I'll come right in here and begin with just an edge, just a little bit. And then we'll go right into our green. Show a little grass there. I'm going to wet the paper just a bit so that I get a nice reflective quality here. So I'm going to take my clean brush and then as it's drying, use this acrylic brush and lift out some reflective shapes in the water. We'll do just a tiny bit of lifting right here to show that this is the edge of the land up here. And then we'll do just a little bit more definition on top of this soft line. Kind of recreate the edge here, but we'll do it with a little bit softer violet. And then just giving a little silhouette. And the same thing with this top. Different design though, different edge. Drop in a little bit of violet. The violet and the orange really look beautiful together. I'm going to switch to a larger brush and just put very, very soft violet in the background here. This way I can do it with one swoop of the brush. And you can see the orange through the violet, which just gives it the appearance of layers. Same thing right here. Come in here. Just do another soft layer. You have to think about your negative shape here as you come around. What do you want your mountain to look like? When this is dry, I'm going to go over this with a little more yellow just to brighten that up. We're going to use our small lifter brush right in here, just to give a little look like there is some wave going on from the boat. And then we're going to just do a little silhouette of the boat here. And of course we're going to put a little person in the boat. And the tiniest. And then just to ground it, put a little bit of violet. So that completes our first lesson in Wet on Wet. This is our end result. Hopefully you can follow along on the video and work on it yourself. This is called Spring Flowers and will be our beginner watercolor class number 4. This is Roz Osrin from Nainsook Framing and Art. If you live in the Mesa area, we'd love to have you in one of our classes. Our website is www.nainsookframing.com.